Should we do a disclaimer?
We're not professionals.
No, not about being professionals. We are professionals, but the fact that you may hear some banging and drilling. We've been told it's not going to impact the podcast, but we don't know. We moved to this shiny new place, all this exposed brickwork, and they told us that there's going to be building works going on to the end of the month. And you know what that means. Builders are never on time.
Yeah, at least doubling that.
So we're still going to be listening to drills and bangs in like October, which will really piss us off on prep as well. So
oh my God.
That's a nice segue, actually.
It is.
Should we say hello first?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. This is episode 2, season 2 of the Off the Cuff podcast. There is Remember Down. Don Siklos is in his one of two places that he travels. You've got 2 guesses. Yes, you got it on the second one. Mykonos. He's in Mykonos. But what a place. I mean, I kind of like opened up his stories yesterday, and I just thought I need to try and avoid this story because it looks so
it looks
nice.
Real nice. He's on his own though. I don't mind traveling on my own, but I'd rather be with someone.
Have you travelled on your own before?
Yeah. Well, obviously I kind of went out to Dubai on my own. The whole America thing was all on my own.
Not really travelling.
Not really travelling, no. I mean, I did a bit of travelling, but it was suboptimal. I remember one day going to the beach. I flew out. I drove out to I think it was like Florida Keys or something, somewhere in Florida. That used to be a nice day. Drove out there in the Wrangler, top off, roof down,
shredded. And
I got there and I was like, I just don't want to be here. I was like, there's no one to even be like, hey, how cool is this? Like, I got a picture on my phone. There was a lighthouse, and I like took a picture of me just looking down at my camera, just like, that's all right.
Yeah.
Walked down the beach, just like kind of patchy tanned but shredded, and thinking like, just get out of here, man. Go back to your apartment and like cook some egg whites or something. Yeah. But yeah. We're going to talk about prep today, aren't we? Prep updates. You've got a few questions.
Questions we can go through.
Also, go on.
Were you going to go into the topic?
I was going to go into just the kind of what we're up to at the moment, because obviously you spoke a little bit about
pretty cool
your sort of investments recently. So I was going to talk a little bit about mine in terms of what's going on for me today. Because I'm pretty excited about it. So
it's the
day,
launch day.
Launch day, yeah. So Team Brightman / Fitness is launching its first email campaign, which is cool. Long time coming, something I've thought about for a long time, but never had the know-how of how to do it. And also not really an idea of how to do it, like what content do you give away for free?
That's what I thought. That was my bottleneck when I was thinking about email marketing for like coaching. What would you do as a coach? But let me know. Yeah,
I will. I'll talk a little bit about it, because I'm pretty excited about it. And the initial reaction, at least on a poll on Instagram, which we'll take it with a pinch of salt, was pretty good. So with the help of Chelsea of DigiClick Design, big up Chelsea. I'll put her like website link in the description of the YouTube as well, so you can click on it. Because I thoroughly recommend her for anyone kind of like us who's like within this online coaching space. I think in any kind of entrepreneur, really, she's not just a fitness business or fitness business person, but we get stuck in the business, don't we? Not on it. And I was saying to Josh as we walked in, there's just nowhere we'd have been able to even think about doing this. There's no one to hold me to account. There's no one to even give me the know-how of how to do it without her help. So I would give it a big shout out. She's helped me with loads of things, actually. And I think Josh has worked with her.
Yeah, she's super versatile as well. I mean, for Joe, obviously, it's helping with online coaching. For me, actually, mine's one of more specific. So there is multifaceted of that. I know she's worked with people like James Smith and whatnot. So great portfolio on the gill.
Yeah, for sure.
Day one. She actually made one of our logo.
She did tell me.
She's the creator.
Early doors.
Inspired by me.
Yeah, no, she told me that. It's cool. Yeah, so hopefully she'll take me to the moon. But yeah, the email campaign launches today, and I want to just clarify here, because people have been like, "Oh no, I've missed it." There's not an intake. You can join it at any time. The content is evergreen. It's just that it's quite cool this time because you're going to be like prepping alongside me, sort of thing. But the content will be there forever. And at the end, you'll have a little blueprint for fat loss, which I'm pretty excited about. I think it's going to be actually really valuable content, and obviously for free. So
nice.
Yeah, exciting.
Sounds good to me.
Exciting. How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Very, very stressful time away. I was in Wales last week. For the people who don't follow me so closely on Instagram, I was in Wales. My girlfriend's parents live out there, so we were dog sitting for the week. And it was a nightmare. Like 35-minute drives to the gym and back. Had to go there twice a day. Just that I realised how valuable my time is at the moment, which I actually, maybe I needed that to realise how much I value, like actually needing to know my and to improve my time management, because I took that 2 hours out of my day and I was just flopped, and it was very, very stressful. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, today being Wednesday, I felt normal.
Back on it.
Yeah, I literally just like slipped straight back in. We had a couple good sessions. This
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Just things are coming together, starting to finally see some shape come back. I think once that waist drops in, and you think, right, all right, I can see it.
Bit of reassurance.
Yeah, and it just slips you straight back into that kind of confidence and building into it.
Yeah, it was funny because obviously last week we spoke a lot about fat loss and balancing like a lifestyle, and you've already noticed. I mean, obviously prep is adding into that. It's more, I guess, it's more like business stuff for you. But like you said, that time being valuable. When you're kind of embarking on a fat loss journey that needs elite results, there's not any balance. Like, we're not going to kid anyone.
No,
are we? Like,
zero balance.
It's,
and there can't be.
No.
And I'd argue if there is, then you're either in that 0.001% like Nathan Dasher, or you're not going to do very well.
Yeah.
That's it. And
I think especially like for us over the next 3 months, like, we said as we were walking in today, like, we both feel fine at the moment, but I guess our level of balance at the moment is within the confines of our calories and macros, isn't it?
Exactly.
And it's like, honestly, looking at what I ate yesterday, everything is like a whole unprocessed food. Like, it's, do you know what I mean?
Really
it's 100%. It's clean, quote unquote. It doesn't mean it doesn't taste good.
Have you found any little meals that you've been like repeating?
Oh mate, I'm gonna.
Are you already in?
Those turkey burgers I made yesterday, I'm gonna hammer them. They were so good. Mate.
You did them in the oven?
No, just so when Max was here last week, my Max Gomboss is going to be announced as my like third coach on the team, and he came to stay for a few days, and he made me burgers one day, and in my head I've always had, oh god, homemade burgers, like what a pain in the ass. But really, I just did 300 grams of turkey mince, red onion salt, some breadcrumbs, and like salt and pepper in there. Just like mushed it up, and then I didn't realise this, but the key to getting like nice charred burgers is just not to oil the pan. So you just put them in a pan, and obviously there's a bit of fat in the turkey, so that kind of lubricates it anyway. And oh my god, they're so good. And then I've got that Eat Lean cheese. Have you used that?
Yeah.
It's not very good if it's dry, but if you melt it, it does.
I think I'm at
taste
that
like
point where
cheese.
it's going to taste nice now.
And I made them, and I melted the cheese on top, and then I put tomatoes on top of it. No bun, just rice. And I was like, oh
No
my
bun,
God.
just rice.
I was like, this is going to be so good.
Man said turkey burgers, and it's just a turkey patty with rice.
Oh yeah, just turkey patty. Yeah. There's no bun involved. No bun. I could have gone and got buns, but I didn't have any buns in, so I didn't bother. What about you? The breakfast? Tell them about the breakfast.
The breakfast is elite. I think I'm
so good, man.
I'm verging on maybe having to put egg whites in just for volume.
I told you.
Close.
Table.
So at the moment I have almost like a BLT. So what I do is I do make it pretty crispy bacon medallions. We've got 2 bagel thins. I put 30 grams of Philadelphia on it, Philadelphia Light, and the Philadelphia Light is banging.
Yeah,
so you've got that lovely like creamy cheese on there. I get some tomatoes, get some little bit of lettuce, got some like you can really crisp up this bacon medallion that I've got, because it has like a thin strip on the outside. Yeah. It's not one of the ones where they've got the strip and you just cook it up, crisp up the sides. And I've just been absolutely loving it. For pure like that's not the best volume food that you can have, right? Yeah, you can have baby rice or you could have oats and something else, every single one, and bulk it up. But for pure like enjoyment, like, and palate cleanser.
It takes a while to eat as well. That's the thing. Yeah, exactly. You've got 2 bagel thins there. That's like 2 big sandwiches there. Yeah. You'll enjoy it when you add the egg white in. It's like a little egg white like pancake. Like, just slap it in there. Oh, it's so good. Yeah,
Can you tell we're on prep?
Yeah, innit? Oh my god, we just spent the first 10 minutes talking about food.
I've been actively avoiding looking at anything to do with food, and I've got a playlist saved. But I see that, I'm like, all right, put it there, because I know that when I'm going to try and hold off as long as possible. Last year, I actually made the mistake of fixating on it, and this is something for people listening.
I don't do it.
I fixated on it last year, and it created something awful in me. Like, it really, like, that for the first time, I felt my actual relationship with food slip, because I was so fixated on from 12 weeks out. As soon as I felt hungry, I was like, food video. I must have watched hours and hours and hours and hours of food video.
Oh, I've never been one to do that.
So then when the reins were off, it was fucking game on.
Yeah,
it killed me. I just shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, big mistake that is. I think my pro card one, I started following burger pages and then instead what I just did was like unfollow them so you don't keep seeing them. If you want to go there, that's cool. Make a little list of restaurants, like, because it is annoying when you think about a cool place to go and then you forget about it. So I've got like I've not looked at it for ages, but I had a list in my phone of like restaurants in London I wanted to go to.
Yeah, nice.
Which is cool, but yeah, I don't recommend anyone looks at fucking 10k Charles, mate. Nightmare.
Avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, we were going to talk about because without Tom here, obviously the lifestyle element is gone, which is kind of works quite
especially
well.
at the moment.
Yeah, especially at the moment, because we obviously kind of covered it last week. So this week we were just going to talk about, I guess, our preps and a bit of an insight into like what it's going to look like bare all. We'll tell you everything that you want to know, and then Josh has, I think, accumulated some questions from followers.
Yeah, we can kind of pick a theme.
Cool.
There's loads of them.
All right, sweet. That sounds good. What should we start with? Sort of where we're at now with it.
You've said about shows, right? So should we line out? You've talked about your shows.
Some of them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm happy to talk about them.
Yeah, we could talk about what we've got lined up, how many weeks, how we see the next X amount of weeks going for one another.
Yeah.
And then like what our plan is when we go, with the shows and what we're saying when we get
there. Yeah, man, it's exciting.
So you want to go first?
Yeah. Well,
or shall I go?
No, you're going first because your competition is first, isn't it?
So, yeah. So my first competition is the One Bro Pro Show. That's the 31st of July. So that puts me at just under 12 weeks out, 11 and a half weeks out.
Damn.
11 weeks out on Sunday. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm 113 kilos, 113 and a half kilos. That's honestly, like, when I look back and I think I like put the numbers up a little bit in my head, I was pretty much 114 and a half, 115 on like a heavy day. But when I started prep, so I'm a kilo and a half down. I'm starting to get veins everywhere. I'm starting to get really lean. So I'm getting a bit excited about how much weight's been put on.
Yeah.
And I think for me, realistically, 100 kilo, 101-ish seems pretty sound. I was 96 and a half, so anything above 4 kilos for me would be good. So
that's crazy.
That's 12 kilos, 11 weeks.
In one off season, that's crazy.
Well, we'll see when we get there. Might be different when you get there.
Yeah.
And then following that, we've got the Tampa Pro, which is the 6th and 7th of August, followed by the Texas Pro, which is the following week, which is the 13th or 14th. And during that, Mr. Brightman's going to come out.
Yeah.
It's going to be incredible. Come out for Tampa. You're going to...
Yeah. The plan for me, Texas has been earmarked as like a definite... I'm definitely going to do Texas. Like, I have to be ready for that show. So what's that, 15 weeks out? 15 weeks out of that one? 13 weeks out of that one. Then
14. Tampa
is a week before. And in my head, I'm like, well, if I'm going to be ready for Texas, like, I'm probably going to be ready for Tampa. Yeah. Like, if I have to push it, and
like, if you get some points, you get some points.
Yeah, exactly. So I think as well, I need to rack up as much stage time as I possibly can. Obviously, I'm going into an entirely new category. I've got posing to learn. I've got routines to do. Like, I've got shit to get done. So I need to get out there and feel comfortable, feel confident up there. The hilarious thing is that Breon is doing that Texas show, which is amazing. I'm gassed about that. That's like incredible. Ex-Mr. Olympia, like, what did he win it 2-3 times? Yeah, it's crazy. To stand next to him would be mind blowing.
Yeah, it'd be insane.
That's the sort of shit that I like dreamt of last year. Like, that's crazy. So that'd be really cool. And I kind of spoke about it in that first YouTube, but I'm so excited about the what I hope will be the difference this year is, like, I had to kind of do it all. Obviously, I had Lou Blackman with me at times, but I was the one on prep. Whereas, like, for me and Josh to be going out together, staying together, training together, dieting together, do you know what I mean? It's going to be like a team effort, I think, which is I'm really excited about.
And we've got Andy the videographer out with us for the whole 3 weeks that we're out there.
So Andy will come, so it'll all be documented. Cal should be there. Like, Josh's mum's coming. I think my dad's coming. Josh's girlfriend. So it's just going to be a vibe, which it wasn't last year. Like, I really missed that. I thought last year was going to be amazing, and it sort of crashed on its, as I've said so many times, on its face. But I'm really excited for this. So yeah, we got those shows. You didn't mention anymore, but I will continue. Definitely for one more, Italy, which is I think it's in Rome in mid September, 2 weeks before the Arnold. And then obviously my dream ever from last year, from sitting in that crowd, was to be on that Arnold stage. So I will most likely finish there, providing I get the invite, which we should find out about this month. They've pushed it back a bit, I think.
I'd also do that as well. And if there's a chance to me that I get, if I'm honest, if there's a chance to me that I'm looking good and in eight or 9 weeks, and then I'll probably jump in some in mid-July as well. There's a few in Europe that I could jump in. There's Portugal and Estoril. That's where we lost that first.
Yeah, shit, redemption.
And then there's also another one in Alicante, which is the Euro, whatever it is, the Euro Champion.
Europa Pro, or is that?
It's one of those ones, run by Emilio. So if I'm in shape, I'll do those. We'll see.
It's gonna be one of them ones, isn't it? Like, I've already done it. I've already done that thing where I've been like, okay, we're gonna do this show. Kyle, let's just drop it a bit more. Let's just do it forward. Let's just pull it forward. Yeah. You're like, fuck it, let's go.
It's doable. It's just like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to like push it just for the sake of like jumping in 8 weeks and then like potentially changing a look.
Yeah,
you know.
you don't want to fade.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin that look. I've done that before, I think, and I don't want to jump there again.
Yeah, cool. So that's our plan. And then in terms of what we've got to come off, so what you think you've got 13, 14 kilos to come off?
Yeah, I reckon 100. So 13 and a half kilos.
Okay. I'm 117 this morning. So me and Josh have gone.
Big boy.
Me and Josh have gone like this. No, not this. I've gone the other way. But obviously I was cruising for not longer, but cruising for later than Josh.
Yeah.
So my cycle's probably only just kicking in now, which obviously
you get that initial
bump up in weight from various factors. So after seeing a low of 115.9, I then went back up to 118 over the weekend, which is cool. I'm calm. It's not a problem. Like I was watching my condition; it wasn't getting any worse. It cannot be body fat. There is no way it can be body fat. So I'm relaxed about it. And I went through some posing this morning. I just think there's like a significant amount more tissue on my body, which I'm quite proud of.
Yeah.
In a short period of time, like I got a couple of glute lines this morning. Like they're not shredded by any means, but there's definition in my glutes, which is I've not even seen that before.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. Like my adductors were popping, never happened before. So I think all the work that we put in, I'm feeling really excited for.
That's like gym pin on that.
Like gym pin on that adductor, finally. Yeah, like we've obviously been training together like now for the last 3-4 weeks, and like my hamstring strength is like it on another level now, which is really cool. So, like lying leg curls, seating leg curls, stuff like that. It's all stuff I wouldn't normally touch many people on, but feels really strong now, so that's cool.
Yeah.
But I reckon I'll be shocked at how much weight comes off. Like I wouldn't be surprised. My cap is 104.
Yeah, sometimes you just get those times where you just lose like 2 or 3 kilos.
Yeah, just bang, just drops off. And you're like,
there it is.
Yeah. So I think
104 point.
I need to be 104, but I think I think I could come in at 100.
I thought it was 105.
I did see this the other day. I think it might have gone up maybe.
6'1".
Maybe they added another in. I'm between 6 and 6'1" though.
Okay.
So I'm yeah.
I must be as well then, to be fair.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I've kind of Cal's made for both of us quite a lot of adjustments over the last, quite quick ones, but I kind of think they need to happen.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's one of the ones. It's like, do you wait and see the impact, or do you just preempt it and make some changes?
I mean, like we said potentially in the last podcast, like the worst case scenario is you get lean early, then you stop. You know, people don't understand this. When you're in condition, you don't need a deficit. You know, so that hour of cardio, that 1,000 calories or whatever. Obviously I'm exaggerating. Like that's a huge deficit. So actually, when you're in condition, you can remove all that. And I've been in that position. That's my first year when I went for my pro guide. It was incredible. I couldn't believe what was happening. Where I was doing all this cardio, all this hard work, and once I was there was zero cardio, just 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
I finished the season on 3,000 calories, and I was still starving, still felt like shit, but fuck me, I wasn't getting up to do cardio. I had all my time back, and I was like, whoa, this is like magic.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
Yeah. I guess that will, because we've got quite long seasons ahead of us, like drawn out ones. That will obviously be the plan for both of us. Like you don't really want to be going back into deficits after shows. Like that's where I messed up last year.
Yeah.
So keeping control of ourselves after shows, no matter how much we've got to celebrate. If there's another show, we have to stay on point.
Unless I win, then fuck it.
Yeah, unless you win, then fucking chill. But,
to the Olympia son.
Yeah, same goes for me. But yeah, so that's our setup at the moment. Where's your macros? Where's your cardio steps and drugs, if you want to talk about them?
Yes, yeah, of course. So I'm at 10,000. I do 11,000 steps, 35 minutes of cardio every day fasted. That fasted cardio will be with Clen T3, your Himbine T4, and also have my Tell myself done in the morning as well. Growth as well, yeah. 2 IU of growth in the morning as well. I'm not going to go into the doses of like T3, Clen and all stuff because all that stuff has been titrated up. I don't necessarily know whether people need to be like matching someone who's going for like to try and qualify the Olympia, especially with just things that like play with your like metabolism and stuff. Like I'm just keep it out of it, but they're good doses. Like I'm not going to lie, they're not like small doses, right? We're going in. Do that cardio. I have 3,300 calories on my training days. It's about 450 carb, 275 protein. I'm very flexible. Like I'll give and take 50 grams of protein here and there for carbohydrates or fats if I'm feeling a good meal. For example, I made like a banging risotto last night, which I normally wouldn't do. So I'm a little bit flexible like that as long as my calories are there. And it's 2,800 on my non-training days, which is today. They both feel like pretty low now. I'm pretty like hungry.
Really?
Like I'm pretty fucking hungry now, but feeling good in terms of like full anabolic. So testosterone it was Masteron and it was Tren. I've not noticed as big a change as I thought I would. I basically went from 150 milligrams of testosterone per week, doubled it to 300 within 2 weeks, put 600 milligrams of Masteron propionate in, put 100 milligrams of Tren E in. That's like, you know, a gram of gear, you know, from 150. And I thought, right, if I put a gram of gear in, I should be like, whoa, this is it. And I remember that feeling very, very well after 3 or 4 weeks last year. And I've just noticed that I've not necessarily had that. So I've just switched out all my Masteron for Primo Bowling that I had in my off season, because I know that was real. I could feel that. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I've done like 3 injections of that. Same. So 600. My testosterone is just a 400 now. So 400, 600, 100. And that's pretty much it. Like, we've probably got a little bit more room to push Primo up now, because Primo can be pushed a little bit higher. Obviously, there'll be things like Anabolics, which will come in later on down the line. But for now, that's where I'm at. 3 injections in. Honestly, I don't know where it's in my head, but like, I feel fuller. And I've done Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and this morning.
I think this week, something's changed this week for me as well. So obviously, having said that, what Josh had just said, we're using all the same compounds in slightly different doses at the moment. So again, the same goes for me. So I'm on, I was just looking at my calories there. I am on 3,140 on rest days, which is 300 protein. I am a bit stricter with protein, but like, I just enjoy it. Like, I quite love it. So it's all good. It keeps me full.
It's good for satiation.
Yeah. So I go, and also like the thermic effect of food, if you want to talk about that. So I go 300 protein, 350 carb, 60 fat on rest days, and then on training days, it's 200 calories more. So it's 450 carb, but less fat, so 40 fat. I feel absolutely fine. The beauty of what's going on at the moment is I'm so fucking busy that like, I'm literally like, I'm not even thinking about eating. Like, I don't wake up and go, oh my God, I'm hungry. I wake up, I get my cardio done, and I sit at my desk and I have a coffee. And honestly, because of the time we're training, like we're training at about 11, so I have to leave about 10:30. It's honestly getting to about 9:45. I'm like, oh shit, I've got to eat. And I've already been up like 4 hours. Yeah. I've done the fasting that I need to. So for me now at the moment, like, I'm good. I have this real rapid switch in my headspace that goes from like bulking to cutting. And like immediately I'm like a scavenger. Yeah. I'm like, no, I got to save that till later. Yeah. Which I think is probably not good for my weigh-ins, because I think it means I eat quite a lot late in the day.
I do the same thing though.
I had a huge meal the other night and I woke up. That was when I woke up heavier, and I was like, I bet it was that. Still under my calories, but it was just a shed load of food. But yeah, so my setup is wake up, Clen, Yohimbine, T3, T4, Telmisartan, and yeah, growth. Same 2 IUs of growth, same as Josh. I then do two rounds of abs. So I do. Josh has just got in as well. Yeah. We both bought the little ab mat, because I was like, we weren't doing it at the end of our sessions, were we? So I was just like, I'm going to do it every morning.
It's
perfect.
Game changer.
Yeah, and obviously both obviously have black coffee as well, which helps to get the
black coffee as well.
Helps to get the heart rate going. So I then do my 2 sets of abs, which is like anything from like unweighted 15 reps to like weighted like a bit lower reps, like I've got a kettlebell, and then jump on the bike. 30 minutes every day at the moment for me, which is absolutely fine. Actually, today I did it. I know I moaned yesterday. Today I did it and I jumped on, and I looked at my watch. I was like, oh, I've done half an hour. Yeah, so it was good. And it's no problem for me. Like, I hope I can keep up some discipline as we go into, as I'm not competing after this, because like, this makes me feel
it every year though.
I know, it just makes me feel good, man.
So much better.
It makes me feel really good. Like my alarm goes off.
To feel fit.
My alarm goes off and I get up. Yeah. There's no negotiation. I don't lay there. I get up and I do my cardio. I have my shower and like, I just feel good. Like, I need to keep on it.
Cold shower?
Yeah, cold shower still. I need to remember it. The cold shower was nice today, actually. I've mastered it now. I do like shallow breathing until I'm like, and then I'm like, because it does take your breath away otherwise. But yeah, so that all goes in terms of I've done calories. My steps are actually between 8,000 and 10,000, because steps are causing me some real ag behind my knee. So we said, let's pull that down a little bit, which actually feels okay now. And then obviously training is the same as Josh, 5 times a week. I just have a bit more lower body volume in. And then in terms of anabolics, so I've gone from 125 test in Anthate, and I've swapped over to faster acting esters, so like propionate, so testosterone propionate, master on propionate, but now primo, and tren acetate.
Yeah. And the reason being?
And the reason being to see that impact quickly. So obviously, ideally you'd use longer acting esters because you don't have to pin as frequently. Yeah. There's less stress, less inflammation, less of a ball ache, to be honest. Yeah. But if you do start with short-acting esters, you're going to see that impact quicker. It's not because of water retention. It's not because later on we're going to swap. It is just because if I take enanthate, I wouldn't see any impacts until 5-6 weeks down the line. Whereas I've been super physiological now for 2 weeks, and as I said, last week I felt knackered. Training didn't feel good whatsoever. This week, like literally Monday that was PEDs across the board, I think, for both of us.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, like even my lower day, which is a bit of a bitch, like felt pretty good.
Nice.
So yeah, that feels nice. And then obviously today's a rest day, and it feels like a well-earned one as well.
Same.
So yeah, my anabolics are 450 test, which I think is a bit higher than Josh. 750 primo, which again is a bit higher, and then 100 tren. Which a disclaimer as well from us. Like, this is not advice. Please don't take it as advice, and please understand where we're at in our journeys. Yeah. I would still say, from the cycles I hear in the ether, they're pretty mild, which is nuts to think that we're on over a gram of gear. But you have to remember, primo is one of the safer steroids. Testosterone is like the base, and then tren, bit more sort of neurotoxic potentially, but at a very low dose, like hopefully not causing too much damage. And from all the research that we've done, and all the, not that we've done, but the
people we talk
as
to
a collective, really like the orals are the ones that are going to cause quite significant damage, like further down the line, and quickly as well. The reason I say that is because I was watching the John Jewett thing this morning when I was doing my little bit of cardio, and there's a study where 6 milligrams of Winstrol, right? 6 milligrams. Bearing in mind people run 25, 50 milligrams, right? Yeah. The impact on your HDL and LDL is sickening. Really? 6 milligrams for, I think it was 6 weeks, and it was like a 33% increase in 33% increase in HDL, which is your protective one.
Whereas, increase or decrease?
Decrease. Whereas actually testosterone sipping at the same period of time actually increased your HDL. So I mean, there is the chasm between orals and so
that's true.
And John Jewett quite rightly says, like, you want to avoid orals like the plague if you can. And sure, they come in later down the line, but just know that you're absolutely going to hammer your cholesterol. It's among other things, livers, kidneys.
The way I've learned it is it's like extremely situational, and if you can create that look without it, then do. And that situational is when your reward is a pretty fucking good one. And when you're doing, I can't sit here and say what you should and shouldn't take, but in my opinion, like, if you're going for this as a job, there's your very, very small window of situation. And small window, like, I'm talking 2 weeks. Like, you can use Winstrol for a week, like 3 days, and you're noticing the difference. Maybe even quicker, because it's a very fast-acting drug. But within a week, it's in, you're at a peak, boom, you've got that look, take it off. It's orals, and this is the issue with these people that think, let's do an oral cycle. Not only are they extremely toxic, they're very cosmetic, more so than anything else. As in, like, when you put it in, you get the effect that you want. When you take it out, it goes. And I noticed that between competitions, I put it in for a week, do my competition, think, fuck, like, I really noticed this. And then within 3 days, I've stopped, and I'm like, oh, have I regressed? No, my weight's the same, everything else is the same. It's like just the look that it gives you, because it's so cosmetic, right? And when you combine that very short, or that cosmetic reason with the toxicity, what it trashes with your cholesterol, the things that it can do so quickly, it does, the risk to reward is like very, very slim there. I barely ever use Winstrol with any of my clients, you know.
One of the really common things we'll hear as well is like an Anavar only cycle. It seems like the amount of people I get asking me, like, oh, I don't really want to pin, like, can I just take Anavar? And it's like, no, it's not going to help you. Like, Anavar it's going to crash your HPTA, which is the axis that creates your hormones that you need. It's an oral. It's going to impact your lipids and your cholesterol, as I've seen in my own blood work before as well. You might get like some very tiny benefits to training, potentially. Like, we will probably put it in when training starts to regress, like a bit further down the line, like when we need a bit more of a pump in training, a bit more performance, retain some strength, because obviously strength is what helps you maintain the muscle you've built. But anyone looking at doing an Anavar only cycle, like, please don't do it. It's not good. It's going to be really unhealthy, and the most annoying thing is it's like really ineffectual. Like, just stay natural and just train hard. Like, you will probably see very, very similar results. Like, and the kickback is, even if you see a bit of improved results for that time period you're using Anavar, when you come off, you've crashed your testosterone anyway. So you've gone from here to now here, and even lower, in fact, because you're not exogenously stimulating that testosterone pathway anymore. So you're just taking Anavar, which I don't even think really would. I've not looked at someone's Anavar only blood work, but I'm not sure it would even have an impact on testosterone, if not just to shut it down.
Yeah,
It's a big concern. Like it's not smart.
Yeah. Similarly, for like the way that you might hear us structure our cycles, like would start low and titrate up. So the dose that I'm on now, like I didn't start on that. I started a little bit less. It's only been 4 or 5 weeks, but we've put things up, and it will continue to go like every couple of weeks. The benefit of doing that, and this is where I've segued from this, because people like to throw in those oral kickstarters.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're just like, the longer you stay on steroids, the more toxic load you get, the more you accumulate, the more damage you do. So if you start with just like something that's going to slam you as hard as that straight away, like you best believe that if you got your blood works checked and you titrated it up to 8 weeks, the 8 weeks blood work would be much better than if you'd thrown that oral kickstarter in or whatever. Like, yeah, you might feel it, but as soon as you take it out, it's like you've just like hit yourself with a sledgehammer of toxic, and then taking it away, and then you just let the injections that you're taking take over.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's crazy. And people say, oh, but you'll get the gains faster. Yeah, but you'll also like you might get gains however X amount faster, but you're also doing X amount of damage quicker. And actually the titration, the slow approach, we can stay on cycle a lot longer, and actually the long-term damage of those cycles is less than if I was to hammer it.
Yeah.
Based off my own blood work and my own experience. I'm not a doctor.
It's just not worth it, which we come back to time and time again. Like we came back to it with the whole podcast in the last season. Just not worth it. It doesn't, whether it looks it or not, like I promise you it's not. And I think actually to like illustrate that point in terms of if you can avoid orals, like bear in mind what Josh just said there about orals being largely cosmetic. Like they're not going to help you build muscle. They're just going to help you look a slightly different way. And that look we're talking about is like dry, hard, grainy. They are just synonyms for fat-free. Like if you get fat-free, if you lose as much body fat as you possibly can, and a caveat to that is there's always more to lose than you think, most likely. Like you will look hard, grainy and dry without needing to use Winstrol and Anavar. Yeah. And I think there's a bit of a culture of like, oh, it's got to be part of the prep cycle. I've got 3 lads at the moment that are going to compete in the next 2 months in the UK, and definitely 2 of them I'm not going to be using any oils with because they just simply don't need it.
They're just bang on already.
They are going to be as hard and dry as they need to be, and I don't think Winstrol's going to help that, and certainly it's going to obviously absolutely nail their cholesterol. So they've, I sit here from a bit of a position of hypocrisy because I'm going to try and rush into some shows because for me the risk does outweigh the benefit, or the benefit does outweigh the risk in the terms of like, if I do this show and I do well, like I could qualify for the Olympia or at least get some points on the board to do so. So it's worth it for me. But I guess that's what we're saying. Like for a lot of people, it's not. And ideally what you do is have a really nice long prep where you don't have to ramp things up quickly. You don't have to make the quick changes we're making. Yeah. But I've just got that, I don't know, got that buzz of spontaneity. I'm like, let's just get it done.
Yeah.
So listen, do what we say, not what we do. That's what I'm saying. But yeah. That's our setup. I think I covered everything there.
Yeah.
Food, drugs, output, training.
Yeah.
That's it. What else would you like to talk about in terms of prep? Do we have some questions, or have you got some stuff before that?
Nah, I think in terms of prep, I mean, there are questions about prep, but I think we could just go through them as a Q&A anyway, because there's some different ones we can talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Even if there's not prep questions, I don't mind.
Yeah.
We can talk about whatever.
Do you think you can be too lean for men's physique specifically?
I don't think you can be too lean, no. But I think I'm still up in the air about this, even as an idea. As someone who's assisted, can you lose muscle on prep? I'm a bit like...
I know, like, it's so difficult to answer that.
It really scrambles my brain.
It's like, there's periods of time where I'm like, no, I'm building muscle.
Yeah.
And then there's periods of time where I'm like, well, I must be losing muscle now. Like at some point. I don't think you can be too lean for men's physique, and the reason I say that is because the leaner you are, you've just got more wiggle room. I think there's less room for error. I think you come into that show much more like, let's say you're ready early, you probably can start feeding your food up. You're stress free. If you want to look a bit less lean, like you can do that. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can go back into surplus or whatever. I think what I think is amazing about getting absolutely like glutes in lean, if that's what you want to do, I think there's more room for error with them peaking, but as in like a good room for error, as in you can fuck up a little bit because you've made this like deficit to make up for that mistake.
Yeah.
And I also think that like peaking, for example, like say you're absolutely nailed, like you are so shredded, when you fill up, like the difference is really quite impressive.
Yeah.
When you go from flat shredded to full shredded, like Josh last year, like shrink wrapped, absolutely shrink wrapped, and he was definitely leaner than I was last year, 100%. I was pretty shredded at one point, and it got worse. But like, I remember, like it was the leanest I've ever been. But Josh was like another level of lean. I think like a few, like another % down, because when you peaked, like it was, whether it was stress or whatever, like shrink wrapped. You're absolutely
that first one.
Bang.
I never ever felt that in 4-6 years of competing. One competitor always, and we can get this day to day sometimes. You know, when you've eaten a lot of food and you've drunk and you haven't manipulated anything, and you just look at your abs and you feel them, you think they're fucking whomping, and like you feel like so tight, and that happens it happened on stage, and I've never had that on stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is it, and I just looked down, and I looked like a mutant, and I just was like full chest hanging out.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it, this is what we've just done.
I remember seeing the pictures and I was like, this is the best Josh I've ever seen, and like by a country mile as well. I was like, he is absolutely on, which was, well, yeah, it was amazing. And I put that down to the fact that he was just leaner than me.
Yeah, it gives you more room for more room for food, you know.
Yeah, we can use all these words, dry, hard. It was lean. He was leaner than I was, and therefore his peak was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, no is my answer.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Unless I think like mostly no, unless weirdly like your upper body is completely 100% in and your lower body isn't, then I don't necessarily see the need to push more. But very rare, like there's such a weird body fat distribution.
That would need to be like, when we say in, I'm talking like lower lats are like feathered.
Exactly. And like to have your lower lats feathered and your glutes like fat, it's very rare. Like they're like going to be in at the same time. So more often than not, like it's like so very, 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 very hard to have glutes that are like paper thin. So just keep going, really.
Yeah.
You know. So I put this in my story and people went crazy. But do you track your vegetables?
At the moment, I'm not, but I will start to. Like for me, that's quite a good adjustment to make.
Just start counting the carbs from your vegetables and you lose like 30 or so.
Yeah. So at the moment, because they're not like, it's not ridiculous. Like I'm not hammering like a whole courgette in once a day.
Okay.
I'm not hammering. I'm trying to think about what I'm eating in terms of veg at the moment. In fact, the veg I will track is the stuff that I'm like that I've got like the microwave stuff going on, like the bird's eye stuff, which I will track because there's like, I just know there's going to be food in that.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm just not tracking salad, but I will track everything else. Like tomatoes are being tracked. I mean, I had some asparagus the other day. It's having that awareness of what's high in calorie and what's not.
Yeah.
Like asparagus is like, it might as well be fucking calorie free, man.
Yeah, for sure. Or like sweet corn and peas, they have higher carbohydrates.
Yeah. Carrot would always be tracked. But like, salad leaves at the moment, not tracked.
Yeah.
In fact, I even had like 100 grams of runner beans the other day and I tracked them. So actually, I guess you could say I am mostly tracking my veg. Yeah. But you said...
So I don't track anything. I don't track any of my vegetables.
Because you keep it the same?
Because I keep... Well, you know what? I don't really keep it the same, but like the same vegetables are in rotation. The same amounts and the same vegetables are in rotation. So if every third day I have like half a tomato or a tomato, like I don't even count that, even though I know it's a slightly higher carbohydrate. Because I know that
tomatoes are pretty good though.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But some of the things that potentially, like for example, I threw in some. I'd count sweet corn.
Yeah.
I'd count peas.
Carrots as well.
I probably wouldn't count.
Really, I'd count carrots.
I don't know why. It's because I just grate them. I think there's nothing there.
Fair.
But great fiber. So that's why I wanted. And people were like blown away. Like, yeah, but calorie. I'm like, yeah, but it's the same. It's the same amount of calories. And if it's not, it's within 10. So when you think like day to day. Like I burn 1,500 calories in a workout. Like I'm sure there's a day when I burn 100 extra. I'm sure there's a day where I burn 100 less. Like it's averages. So it all averages out.
Yeah, it makes sense. The reason I do track it, or I will be even more militant with it as time goes on, is because I am prone to like filling my plate up.
Yeah.
Like I know as I start to get hungry, there just will be more veg and it will add up. Where it becomes important for me is like my calories often have to get quite low. So let's say I'm on 1900 calories. Well, if I have 200 calories from veg, which is more than likely on a day like the sort of fucking shit I eat when this prep goes on, like the amount of veg I'm eating, like I'm suddenly going to be on 2100, and that's an extra 200 calories a day for 7 days a week. That's 1400 calories of veg. So I will get myself in trouble if I don't track it, and I just find it's like peace of mind for me.
For sure.
Because I like to zhuzh up my salads and all sorts. Like there's gherkins going in there, olives, and all sorts of.
Yeah, I don't count jalapenos. I don't count
jalapenos.
Onions,
Fair enough. I do count jalapenos when I get down to it. But also, just the other thing to kind of a side note on that is something I learned last year was about electrolyte balance and sodium and potassium. And that is another reason why I track it, because, like, for example, tomatoes, hella potassium, and jalapenos, all your pickled stuff, it's pretty sodium heavy, or it can be. So I want to have a picture of that, because I remember last year thinking there was quite often where I was going into the gym same time, same day, taking post-workout pictures and being like, what? Like I look totally different, like really good or really bad. And and also my sleep was terrible. Yeah. I was waking up multiple times throughout the night to go to the toilet, and me and Callum established that it was because my electrolyte balance was way off. Like I was having 4 times as much sodium as potassium. So
what do you do now?
So at the moment where I'm not worried about my condition fluctuating day to day, I'm all right with it. But like there will become a time where I'm literally even weighing out the salt that I put on my food. And
will you put low salt on?
Yeah, so I use low salt at the moment,
which is like a higher potassium salt. It's like 66% potassium, 4%.
Yeah.
Salt.
And a lot of people will struggle with potassium. They'll be like, where do I get it from? Yeah. It's in a lot more than you think, actually. Like dark chocolate has a lot of potassium in. Tomatoes have a lot of potassium, obviously potatoes, bananas. And what was the other one I was going to say? Oh yeah, and then the supplement needs electrolyte powder.
Oh yeah.
Is an absolute godsend.
I've yet to crack mine that you've given me.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to crack it tomorrow morning. Yeah. After my cardio, just
hammer that in. I mean, it tastes amazing, and it gives you a little boost. Like the ratio of sodium potassium in that is great. It's like 1 to 4, I think, of sodium potassium, which is awesome. So yeah, I will track those things.
Protein per meal. How many meals do you have at the moment? Because you said you have 300 protein, so
I'm having I'm already only having 4 meals actually. So I have my pre-workout meal, which has about 50-60 grams of protein in it. I'll get back at the moment, and this is now I've sort of got into this groove. This is probably going to continue. I've been having like about 200 to 250 grams of cooked chicken, which is quite a lot. That's like probably 70-80 grams of protein.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
With some rice and veg or salad. I will then that's the beauty of that is that's at like, what time are we getting back from the gym? I'm getting back from the gym about 2-ish, 2, 3. So I'm having that meal then. Then at 5, what I've been doing this week, which at some point will drop out because it's just not sustainable, but I'll make an alternative, is having protein powder mixed with like Alpro yogurt.
Okay.
So I'm keeping the dairy out because it just messes me up. But like whey isolate and mixing that with Alpro, there's like an Alpro Greek one and an Alpro vanilla. Mixing that up, having like berries in there and some bran flakes. So I guess those 2 meals are going to be like probably about 100 grams of protein in the first, that second one, and then maybe probably about 70 in the next one. Yeah. I didn't even say, did I say my first meal? Did I skip?
Yeah, you said breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast, which is the same as Josh, the bacon and bagel stuff and egg white. And then my last meal will be again like just a big serving of meat. Like last night I had like 300 grams of turkey mince, which again is like pushing 100 grams of protein. So that, then plus all the trace, light work.
Yeah.
What about you?
Really, really similar. 50, maybe 40, 50 pre-workout. I do 20 intra, still do my EAAs. 50 post, 60 meal free, and then I have like a protein shake and some cereal. Yeah. Which is like a small meal. Yeah. Pretty much like 60, 62, 40, and then trace.
I found this really funny actually, because I remember obviously I was on 300 protein throughout the whole of my last prep, and then I remember thinking like, oh my god, this is so easy. Like I'm eating so much protein, and then off season comes around, and I'm suddenly struggling to get 250 in because I'm like filling up with other stuff. Yeah. And then now again, it's just so easy. Like
it's so easy.
Protein can be really bloody tasty.
Really good. Really good.
Super filling as well. Like that big chicken meal at lunch, that turkey mince meal in the evening, like it's banging. Yeah. Big fan.
Turkey mince is so high protein.
Yeah, crazy. And super low fat as well. Yeah. And actually fairly tasty.
Any awkward feelings when TMC goes off on about the dangers of PEDs and death? No. because we are aware of those, and we also talk about them, and we also, like, we're not oblivious to what we're doing. We know exactly what we're doing. Like, for me to go to Tom, like, what you custom my sport out for? And he just goes, why am I lying? And I'm like, no. Like, people die. Yeah. We are killing ourselves. We're taking years of our lives. Like, for a lot of people that listen to him and us, it's not worth it. You know, me and Joe are just those people that think it is for us. And we accept those things. And I think that we would be silly, and it'd be very ironic if we were to, like, have a go at him for it, because we stand by that type of thing.
It's a real short period of time as well, isn't it? Like, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
For me anyway, it's going to be, definitely. I started using anabolics when I was 24. The first couple of years were really, really quite... you have to think, the people that have died and the people that are dying, they are probably 20, no, maybe 15 years older than us, for the most part.
Yeah.
Or, what, 100 pounds heavier than us? Yeah. I'm thinking like Dallas McCarver, like, we're like big. We're big guys, but these guys are on another level. Like, you go to these bodybuilding shows, not joking, when I was at New York Pro last year, I saw that Hassan Mustafa guy, Nick Walker. You realise you are nothing. Yeah. You are a tadpole, mate. Yeah. Like, I got a picture with next to Nick Walker, and I was like, look at that. Like, I'm taller than him, obviously, but I was thinking, fuck me. Yeah. I have big arms, I'd say.
Yeah.
I was looking at his like, shit. Like, you're a little boy.
Man.
And I felt like a little boy. So no, there's no awkward feelings, because it's all legit. We share those same concerns. Yeah. And because I don't believe I'm doing anything that are gonna, you know, maybe at the end of my life, we've spoken about this before. Sure, it might take a few years off my life. I'm okay with that. Yeah. If I was gonna live to 90, instead I lived to 85 because of the 5 years I spent assisted bodybuilding.
What about if it's 60 to 55?
Oh, then that's a big problem, isn't it?
That's a sticky one still.
That's a bit of a sticky one still. Yeah, I'll be very sad about that, because that'll be I'm trying to be retired by then. So
yeah,
hopefully not.
What's the difference between banning something and reverse banning it?
Sounds pretty obvious, that is. Well, if you ban something, you are making it harder, and you are increasing the resistance as you go through the concentric. If you are reverse banding it, you are reducing the resistance as you go through the eccentric. Yeah. Fair enough?
Fair enough. I think people just think, like, because it's getting heavier at the top, it's like the same thing. Yeah. When actually it's actually going from harder to hardest, as opposed to like easier to hard. Yeah. You know, so it actually matches the profile a little bit better, especially if you're most likely going to be using that on something that's on like a 1-to-1 ratio, like it's as heavy at the bottom as it is at the top. Yeah. It's not, you know, it's...
There's, someone broke this down on Instagram, I can't remember who it was for the life of me. There are some intricate differences, but they're not exactly the same, like banding and reverse banding, and like where you equal the load are not exactly the same. Like, there are some intricate differences. Yeah. Where I don't think, I banned the leg press, but everything else is reverse banded. So the reason I will reverse band a hack squat, for me, like, my legs are strong. Like, I've got strong legs. I've got a weak glass lower back, and my knees are made of glass as well. So for me, it makes a lot of sense to reduce the pressure on those weaker areas in the bottom, as opposed to just have, you know, average pressure at the bottom and then really like easy load at the top. Yeah. I mean, I would have to put a fair few bands on a hack squat for me to be challenged at the top, whereas I can just put plates on and just reduce the load at the bottom. As for reverse banding Smith, I don't actually really care too much for reverse banding Smith nowadays. I quite like doing it free bar. I feel like a goat when I'm doing it.
Yeah, because now
did Cybex 4 plates in the off season.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, same.
We're on the Cybex high incline press for the first time. Yeah. And it's really smooth. It's a new one as well. It's not like one of the old ones. I mean, the old one's banging.
The old one's amazing though, yeah.
But yeah, we're excited for it. It's going to be good. Yeah. How long after starting Anabolics did you believe that you could go pro?
I mean, when I started Anabolics, I believed I could go pro.
I'm so glad that's your answer. That's the exact answer I had. Yeah. Before.
Before.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have.
No. I've always said that, to be fair. Like, I wouldn't have touched him if I thought I was still going to have a shit physique No, I phrased that wrong. I had a really good natural physique, and therefore I knew that with more muscle, I would be able to compete for my pro card and hopefully win it. I've always said the moment I thought I could go pro with the assistance of steroids when I was natural. I knew I could go pro when I won my first class in Benidorm. in
Oh
Spain.
yeah,
That was when I was like, I'm going to win.
yeah,
I'm going to win.
yeah. That was Portugal for me.
Yeah,
I thought I should have won that anyway, as I've said about 1,000 times on this podcast.
I think you should have as well.
So, we can phase this question in a couple of ways. Benefits of doing fasted cardio or versus post-workout. Assisted and non-assisted Yohimbine and non-Yohimbine, really. So obviously we use Yohimbine, we use drugs that actually work better in a fasted state. You use growth hormone in a fasted state, you're pumping, blood sugar into the blood. Use that a lot along with Yohimbine, use that along with maybe clenbuterol, but clenbuterol is not, doesn't necessarily need to be in a fasted state. You combine those things, like you're creating a fat burning environment, which will help you. If you're not using those things, thoughts?
I think there's benefits to it, probably indirect benefits to it, just in terms of like what we said earlier about it just feels good. Getting up, getting it done, great. The next thing is, okay, what about your day goes to shit and you haven't done your cardio? Well, now you've got to do it or you've missed it. Get it done first thing, not a problem. I think productivity, like there is an element of like endorphin release of like exercising. So I think there's a lot of indirect benefits. I saw a study the other day, and I'm sure it said that more calories are burned.
We're getting called out for studies that we mentioned here, by the way. They're like, "What are the studies? Show me the studies."
Do you know what? I don't have them because I read them and I scroll past them. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, see you later. I'll just always opt for fasted cardio. Yeah. In terms of post-workout, I guess there's a few detriments to that in terms of like, well, I don't know.
Is there?
I don't know. Again,
heart rate's a little bit higher from training, so calorie burn will be increased. Like I was gonna say, it's delaying you from eating. But like, what's 20 minutes?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, what's half an hour? Like it's not like I'm normally wait an hour and 15 minutes anyway, or longer. Half the time, so I get back and work for a bit.
Yeah, I think it's not optimal to do your cardio post-workout.
I would also say that. I think, generally speaking, I like it away from my performing window as much as possible, because I want to recover for that performing window. I want to perform in that window. So obviously for us, like we can dictate our day. So we get up and we do it at like 6, 7 a.m. And then we're training 4 or 5 hours later after a meal, after lots of water, after being hydrated and rested. If you're working 9 to 5, it might become a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, it's not optimal, but it's still going to work. There's a million ways it's going to
like the difference is like what millimeters, 0.01%.
If that's the only time you can get it done, don't worry, it's still going to work.
Yeah. Unless you're using thermogenics.
Yeah. Yes.
People asking about your posing song, but you're keeping that quiet, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell anyone my posing song.
Yeah, good.
You're going to have to just wait and cry when you see it.
Yeah.
It's a sad one, though. I'll tell you that. It's sad and it's slow. And it's not The Weeknd.
Do you think people should... I know we're talking about banning a second. Do you think people should get to a certain level of strength before using it?
I do like that idea.
Yeah.
I can't explain why. I don't have logic behind this. This is like the bodybuilder in me. I think there's some merit in, getting naturally strong. I say naturally, I mean not banded strong, like in that lengthened range, handling weight in that lengthened range, putting your connective tissue under some stress in that lengthened range, rather than like, there is something in that for me, like just going in and banding movement straight away. Like I've seen, with the rise of it, I've seen, honestly, kids with 20 kilos aside on a Smith machine and a green band on. You are lifting nothing at the bottom. Yeah. You are lifting nothing at the bottom. Yeah. So I do believe there is some benefit in it. And also, when you're lifting lighter weights and you're getting stronger, that stress on your connective tissue, which we're talking about, joint integrity, connective tissue health, ligament, tendon, you're not at such risk of that. Like when you start moving 4 plates aside and whatnot, it's a bit more shitty on your joints. But I do think it would be a good idea. Yeah, I do.
Agreed. Opinion. I don't think you do this, but I do this. Opinions on coaches selling generic training programs rather than coaching people individually.
As in one-on-one coaching, because we have some training.
As in, like,
right?
Do you sell training programs as well?
I've just got that one, the hypertrophy training.
Okay. So basically, opinions on people doing that. Well, we both do it. Do you think it's like morally fine?
I think selling a training plan as a generic training plan is absolutely fine. Like everyone knows they're getting the same training plan. Yeah. I still think there's fantastic like programming that goes into it.
Exactly.
And I kind of openly marketed it, which you've done as well, as like a men's physique type split. Mine was a bit more sort of overall like body growth for maybe someone that's like intermediate, but if you're one-on-one coach, if you're telling people you're one-on-one coaching them and you're giving all them the same training program, then yeah, obviously you got a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're selling a PDF, like, you know what you're getting.
Yeah, you're literally
And
being
it's
told.
super helpful still.
Exactly. Like the way we build our training programs is like you probably have access to, like for us anyway, our exercise library.
Yeah.
You know, you have access to how to perform the exercise. You have access to actually it's programmed with like biomechanics in mind. You know, it's programmed, you know, with thinking about your body working, because every body works pretty similar, but you know, in terms of like, or every joint has the same function. Just depends on those levers that make the difference. You know, that's where maybe the specificity is lost, but you know, generally speaking, there's only so many like good exercises in the book, you know.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be there explained well. So I have zero problem with doing it. I think it's actually good for a lot of people. It offers a lower entry price point for them to get you know, some good education.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you like what's I guess this is a little bit he's asking now, but we can think of over the last 6 months, like what body part have you been focusing on, and what have you been doing to improve it?
Lower body and like sort of upper back thickness, but yeah, I guess upper back thickness.
Yeah.
And it's literally just been more frequency. There's been some new novel movements that I've not done in my career before, like particularly like the thoracic extension.
Yeah.
Moving through that plane a lot. And then honestly with my lower body, just like more volume.
Yeah.
I did say to Josh the other day, actually, like I learned something. I'm still learning about lifting, like particularly on legs. I'm still learning about how to just get that internal focus, just turned up a little bit higher.
For sure.
Working out how to get a bit deeper in those movements, which is crazy. So yeah, for me, frequency, intensity's always been there. It's a staple. What about you? Arms.
Yeah, like just literally just my upper body. I think my legs are just one of the ones that just grow all right. Like I train them once a week, and they grow pretty well. So my goal has always been to fill out my upper body, arms, delts, chest, back, and I just do more frequency and do more volume of it. Like it's pretty simple. You just got to be making sure that you're still progressing. You know, like while Joe was training, like touching legs 3 times a week, isn't it? On times, everything's still progressing, and that's the key there. Like the volume's at the point where he can recover from it for the next session. It doesn't just mean you go in, do 10 sets of 10 every session on quads, because you got to think about recoverability, and that's you know. But there's something about that frequency, man, and someone described it to me, or I heard it described on a podcast once, and it's just like, obviously, if you're sending that signal gets stronger the more often it comes. You know, the more often the body receives it, and there's something about that. Just, you know, going to 3 times a week on something that you go, oh shit, I feel the difference.
100%.
It's very strange.
Yeah, I've definitely brought my lower body up quicker than ever with that frequency. And it's been mostly hamstring, actually. It's still, for the most period of that time, it's been quads have been at 1 day a week still.
Yeah.
It's only recently they get hit twice a week, but even on 1 day it's only 2 sets. So yeah.
Thoughts on Callum Boga? Have you heard about Callum Boga?
Oh man, yeah, it's a sad story, isn't it?
Horrible.
It's like the second story in 2 months, and obviously this one sounds like it's given him a spinal injury.
He's jumped out of a window.
I mean,
He's been high.
It's really miserable. It's very sad.
I wonder whether those like big injuries just crippled his mental state.
Yeah, it's really sad just to see the demise of like such a big character as well. Like,
He was like the guy, wasn't he?
yeah, for a good while. He was like, didn't he have like a Gucci advert and stuff as well? Like,
Did he?
yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure it was Callum Boga.
Fucking hell.
He was in a Gucci advert. It's sad. I don't know what more there is to say on it. Don't do drugs, I guess, especially not meth.
Especially not meth. For Joe, how did you learn so much about training before you left your job?
I did it for like 8 years, I guess. Did it for 8 years.
Experience, time in the game.
Time under the bar, as they say. I've always had an appetite for wanting optimal and finding out what optimal is. And so when I was at work, I used to sit there and listen to podcasts about bodybuilding all day. I would learn about supplements.
Same.
I would learn about training. I would listen to all these people that I thought were actually. I will say as well. This is a huge thing that I think people should do, and it's kind of hard. It's like you don't know what you don't know. If you're listening to this, you're in the right place. It's about finding where that smart information is and not listening to the shit that's out there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I credit a lot of my knowledge to the path that I chose or followed. You know, kind of like following the same sort of people as Josh, obviously getting the same coach as Josh. I used to listen to AJ Morris a lot.
Yeah, same.
Who obviously had it filtered down from JP. These are all like really smart people.
Yeah.
You know, JP's like kind of revolutionised the whole game, I'd say, in terms of training. So I spent a lot of time learning that. But yeah, aside from that, just time under the bar, doing it.
That's all it is. Practice. And then when you feel confident enough that you can, I mean, I wouldn't even hesitate at taking a pay cut, you know, but live. If you can guesstimate that you can do enough to live, I guarantee you, if you take the time that you put into that 9-to-5 job and put it solely into online coaching, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think the key is being a good. We've said this before, but being a good online coach before being a good businessman. Like, deliver a good service, like, at very least, because without that, you've got nothing, to be honest.
Yeah.
The other thing actually to bear in mind is, like, it really was it's been my passion for a long time. So while I was working at John Lewis, I'd work and train Monday to Friday, and then there was a couple of occasions where I travelled up to like Birmingham to go to a muscle mentor seminar on the Saturday and Sunday. Got back to work on the Monday, and people were like, "Oh, you're right, Joe. Did you have a good weekend?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I don't even bother like saying it. It was just like what I wanted to do. And I remember sort of sitting there with someone, and they were like, "That's like amazing that you've done that," you know. And I was like, "Is it?" I just want to learn, you know.
It is that people don't do that.
Yeah,
People
like
get stuck in their jobs and think that's it.
I listened to it was one of the Stephen Bartlett podcasts actually. It was the one with Johnny Wilkinson, and he was saying, which is just have you listened to it?
Very good.
Oh mate, I listened to it twice. It's absolutely mind blowing. This guy's awareness is crazy. But he was Stephen asked him sort of, what would you say to those people that are stuck in a job that they don't really like but they want to do something else? And it's like, well, that you know, you do have some time, like do something with that time. If you're in the car, make a call or listen to a podcast, educate yourself. And that's what I did. Like, spent all day at work with my headphones in. You know, I was crunching numbers, but really I was listening to what the best supplements are and how to train. And then wherever that time was, I would find it and be as efficient as possible as I could with it.
That's it.
And then I will say as well, I honestly think having a good coach is going to be one of your best investments ever as an athlete and a coach.
I agree.
Because you learn everything. Like, you get these documents laid out for you straight away, and you can decipher what was done for you and why, and hopefully they'll explain it. And like, Callum's been an incredible resource, like, unbelievable.
It helps set a standard and learn from it.
For sure.
The rest of the questions, we'll leave it.
Okay, cool. How long have we been in for?
It's 11.
It's an hour. Wow, that was a quick hour.
It's a very quick hour.
A little bit leave it. All right, cool.
A little bit leave
A little bit leave it. Well, we'll be back next week with Tom, won't we? And we can find out about his little Mykonos trip.
Yeah. See what happens. I'd love to go to Mykonos right now.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I might try and get a little 5 days in Spain at some point in the next month.
Mate, I'll be down for that.
Got a gym there. Go out to Mum and Dad's little villa.
Yeah, I'll be down for that.
Have to go over the weekend.
Whenever.
Put a big fat jab in, and then
Could do a little Dubai trip as well.
I was thinking, it's like in my head, I was like, the one place I could go, but it's now May, June. It's
Oh, yeah, true.
It ain't worth it, mate.
Yeah, it's true.
All that travelling as well.
I know.
Long. We've got to get our money up.
That's it.
Remember, we've got some big trips to pay for.
It's expensive.
You get that Cadillac and that Escalade.
Bodybuilding is one of the most expensive sports I've ever known.
Oh, God.
For
100%.
no reward.
Yeah, the return.
Like for an actual direct return on bodybuilding.
Return on investment.
It's peak.
Yeah, it's dog shit. And that's why for most people it's not worth it.
Exactly.
So there we go.
Unless you're a millionaire.
Yeah, sweet. We'll leave it there.
Cheers, everybody.
See you later.